Hey everyone, and welcome back to Spill the Tea with Damen B and Gigi.
Hi.
And I have one question for you, Grandma. Do you support the gays?
I do.
You did it way better.
Yeah, I
Wait,
think I got
yeah.
a.
There. I wish you had glitter coming out that
Okay.
fan.
The only thing is, I didn't intend on buying this. We went to an appointment in Toronto on, I think, the hottest day of the year, and I was dying. And I went in, and it was actually Pride Day, or the parade was coming up that weekend. So their hospital gift shop had all this gay stuff. And I was
Oh,
like, yay, two birds with one stone.
oh my god.
Yeah. So I got cool and I was cool.
So, for the listeners out there who don't watch the video, Grandma
Oh,
has a
right.
gay pride fan that she's
Yes.
waving around. Okay, now don't
Mhm.
wave it too much because your
Mhm.
microphone, I can hear the
And
wind.
I'm going to keep that in my purse and pull it out whenever I like. So,
You should do it whenever you sass somebody and you
yeah,
go,
or sass.
that's
Oh,
what I thought.
I don't think I can do it that fast though.
It's just
Oh,
a little tiny fan.
yeah, it's too small. I need a big one. Okay.
That's what she said. That's what she said. Got
I
her.
just thought. I wish they'd
Okay,
bring that show back.
so we're talking about illness today.
Goodness sakes.
Yeah, for
What a
goodness. What a
segue into
segue.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about illness. Woo-woo.
Well, and we're not talking about our own. I think we're talking about
Yeah.
having a family member or a close friend, someone
Mhm.
going through something, and you're kind of hit with that news. And how do you deal with that? I think that's sort of.
That's a great description of it.
So how do you deal with that?
I dealt with it with cookie dough
Right.
and crying and oh, you know what? Talking with the person. That's also how I
Yeah.
dealt with it. It
Yeah.
was
That's a
just
good
talking
idea.
with the person, seeing where their head's at, and it made me feel a lot better. Now I can talk
Hmm.
about it without actually crying.
Right.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I think how do you deal with it?
Well, since I was born in the 80s with a lot of childhood trauma, no offense to my parents, wasn't their fault, but I just take everything, and it's like I have little boxes inside of my head, and I take that information and I fold it all up and I open the lid and I put it in and then I shut the lid.
Oh, you're one of those. Okay.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
actually, I used to do that. It seems that as I get older and going into some menopause, that seems to be the boxes seem to be opening. That's the problem. So, not a good way to deal with things,
yeah.
young people. Deal with it head on.
Yeah, you're crossing that bridge when you get there.
Yeah, and
Definitely.
and your reactions such as crying, binge eating, those sorts of things are totally normal. So I think if you're hit with news of a close family member or friend and they're going through something, the one thing you don't want to do is go, why me? Why is that happening to me?
Yeah.
It's not happening to you. You're dealing with a situation that's happening to somebody else, so you have to remember to be in that mindset. And I think when you're younger, my mother died when I was about your age or younger than you, and I think that was how I felt, was, why is this happening to me? Why am I losing my mother at this age, at this time? Um, it took a long time and to figure out that it wasn't happening to me, it happened to her, and I was not there in the right way. So you have to really, really be there in the right way and not turn it around on yourself. And it's very hard when you're young, especially
Yeah.
because the whole world sort of revolves around you, and it's kind of like, why is this happening in my world? um it is going to happen. Nobody can escape it. and what you need to do is be there for that person. That's the best thing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think so too, because like you said, it's not happening to you, it's happening to that person. So, like you said, you should be there for that person and try to make them feel as comfortable as possible with their situation, help them in any way you can.
Right, and figure out how you can help someone. If for instance, taking into consideration my mother who died of cancer, and it was very apparent very early on in knowing, however it didn't take very long for her to die, that she was going to, there was no avenue. So
Mhm.
in that, instead of being proactive, I shoved it all into the boxes and didn't deal with it
Yeah,
at all. Proactively is figure out, if that's something that's going to happen to a loved one or a friend, what can you do? What are you good at? Maybe you're good at listening. Maybe you're good at, maybe you have some background that you can help out with in, um, something, medical care, medical understanding. Maybe if you're not good at it, there's tons of different courses that you can take, like palliative care courses, and just understand what that person is going through and what you can do to help. So that might be something you can do, you know?
and I will say, if you don't know what you can do, you can ask the person and say, "What do you need from me? I want to help you. I'm not sure how to help you. What do you need me to be? Do you need me to be your rock? Do you need me to be the person that bitch slaps you and said, 'Pull it together, we're going to get through this'? Do you need
Yeah.
me to be the
To
humor
cry.
relief?" Yeah,
Right,
or
right, the
yeah,
comedian, and
yeah, the
that's the thing, like,
comedian.
read the room, and it is definitely because that what happens to a person too when they're ill is they sort of become, everybody's talking around them. Everybody's talking like,
Yeah,
and so it's like they're not in the room, but they are,
yeah,
and so the best thing is to turn to that person and say exactly what you said. "What can I do? How can I help you?" And they often don't wanna ask for
yeah,
help. Like a normal "Oh, I don't wanna bother anyone, I don't wanna." So, make yourself available to help. Don't just say, "Hey, let me know," and then don't, call them expecting them to call you. Reach out continuously, reach out to chat, reach out to talk, find out how they're doing. Maybe they just need to talk through
yeah,
what's happening and what's coming up, or
yep,
or where it's going to go. And I'm not saying, well, we're not talking about every single person dies. Maybe they're just going through a really terrible illness
yep,
that they're going to get to the other side and be fine. And if that's the case, they may just want to talk about the steps that they're going through, and some people need to talk about things over and over to get
yep.
you know
Or complete opposite, they don't want to talk about it at all because they talk about it too much. They talk about
Mhm.
it too much with their doctors, with other people, and they just want to talk about something else. They want to know what's going on in your life, they want to know what's going on in the world. They just want to talk about anything but what's actually happening to them,
Yeah,
which,
yeah.
it's hard not to say the elephant in the room, but they might not want to.
Right, and for you, it's try to read the room.
Yeah,
Like, it's hard in a sense that you're sort of standing there going, "Oh, what do I do? What do I do?" Like, you don't know what to do. You want to help and you feel helpless. That's the main thing, is humans do not like to feel helpless. So they
hmm,
want to help, but how can you? And yeah, exactly. Don't insert yourself continuously bringing it up, or let them sort of
yeah,
lead the conversation, and maybe they go into it, and maybe they don't talk about it at all, and that's up to them. It's sort of the whole thing. Maybe they want to joke about it, but maybe they don't. Let
yeah,
them sort of lead that conversation. I think that's really important.
yeah.
Mhm.
And I know it is hard too to like digest information as well. Like hearing that somebody you love and care about has something bad has happened to them, or like an illness or something.
Mhm.
It is hard. So it might take time for you to process, and you might want to process it before you actually reach out to the person. and like
Right.
right away instead of calling them crying because they're probably already crying, you know?
Right. Yeah, it's probably best to stay calm,
Yeah.
for their benefit. It is true. And but it isn't the worst thing in the world either if they, if they cry. It's
Yeah.
okay to show your emotions too, which is again something we used to do is not show any emotion and
Yeah.
stand there, like a robot and not do anything while the poor person is melting down. Um, but yeah, again, you're reading the room, you're trying to figure out it's really and as much research as you can do on maybe the topic, maybe not the illness itself. You have to be careful on the internet too. Be very careful. When a relative or friend gets ill or sick, don't believe everything you read, okay? Make sure you're going to certified sites, hospital sites. There's a lot of like John
Mhm.
Hopkins University sites, things like that. If you're looking up, do not just go willy nilly and believe every single thing that you read just because somebody posted it somewhere.
On
That's
Facebook.
dangerous. Yeah, Facebook or YouTube, that's a dangerous thing to do. And it can really lead into alleys that maybe you don't want to go, or maybe you take that person into and
Mhm.
cause harm in any way. You don't want to do that. So you want to be very careful what you're researching, but try and figure things out. Like try and understand, maybe the stages of their illness if they have that type of thing, um, or if they are diagnosed with something that is palliative, which means they are eventually going to pass away from it. Understand what that means. I remember too when my mother was sick, we just constantly wanting her to eat. It's a human
Yeah.
reaction is to say, "You need to eat, you need to eat," and she was a very large woman. She was 350,
Oh,
maybe even
wow.
more than that. She was very, very large when she was diagnosed, and when she died, she was 140 pounds, and it was within 6 months or 4
Oh my
months.
gosh.
Yeah.
That's
So,
insane.
it
That's
was awful.
yeah.
It was an awful thing to watch, but our thing was because she loved food, obviously,
Yeah.
she loved it.
Really?
Yeah, and, and our thing was that's what we wanted to see was her eating, and especially then they said, "Well, she can eat whatever she wants." Like
Yeah.
that,
As
she was a
long as she
diabetic and all.
eats. Yeah.
Right, but the thing is I learned afterwards, I took a long palliative care course and understood finally that the only person I was doing that for was me. Um, sort of forcing the eating and pushing the eating and constant with the eating. These she's dying. She obviously lost all that weight because she couldn't eat. She had the cancer, it was like in her lymph system. So it was actually in her stomach and anything she ate came back up.
Yeah.
So it was really, and then possibly she's eating to please us and then going and feeling even, worse.
Worse.
So you
Yeah.
have to be careful what you're doing and think about it from that end of it, not your end. Often we'll keep a dog alive, for instance, because for us,
Yeah.
maybe the dog is suffering terribly, but we go, "Oh no, we'll keep it,
Yeah.
until that dog is can't walk, can't move, whatever." When really that dog should have been put down maybe 2 months earlier or a month before. So you
Mhm.
have to just be careful thinking about those things and just maybe research it a little more. Now it's easy because there's internet. So
But
back then there
also
was none.
some people just don't want to admit that out loud or make that decision. Like, it's like they
Hmm.
don't want to acknowledge that
Hmm.
their person is fading away or something. So they're like, you need to eat because they don't want you
Yeah,
to die, obviously. But
right.
it's like some you have
But it's
to
actually
yeah,
counteracting what's happening. So
yeah,
it's like you're doing this and you're actually counteracting the process that's happening.
hmm,
So it's better to figure it out, accept it for yourself, try to. And that's hard if it's your parent or your child or relative,
yeah.
is to say. But I think if you do accept it, I think you can help more. I think that's the thing. You can
Yeah.
move on and do things for them that they actually need, not, "Would you just eat this? Here, eat this, or drink this." That becomes by the wayside.
And we're not saying put them out of their misery with a pillow by all means, because
No,
that would be
although
wrong.
my mother did, like, she was so sick, she did ask, she and I both worked for a veterinarian,
Oh my god.
and he came to visit, and he asked her, was there anything he could do for her? And she said, "Yes, you can bring," it was called D63 or T63. And I didn't understand that, 'cause then it went up into her brain a bit, and she couldn't speak hardly, so she was having trouble talking, so I didn't understand, and he said to me at the door, "You heard what she said, right?" And I said, "No, I didn't understand." And he said, "Oh, she wants me to bring the T63, which is the euthanasia drug."
Oh my
I was
god.
like, "Well, you know what? Back then,
Yeah.
they didn't have the option. Now people do, and I think that's a wonderful, wonderful thing."
Was assisted death, right? Was
Yeah,
medic
yeah.
oh a- medically assisted
Medically
death.
assisted death, yeah. And I
It's
think, like,
yeah.
some people fight against that and, say it's against God and say it's against whatever.
Never.
I think those people have never actually gone through what I saw, and what I saw, I would not do to my dog. I wouldn't do that. I
Hmm.
wouldn't allow my dog to suffer like that, and yet my mother had to. So, you say no pillow, but there were times when I was just like, "Oh my god." Didn't do it. And in the end, really, she was sort of assisted in the sense that she had a morphine pump.
So I was
I'm
just gonna
sorry.
say. So how did your mother die? If it's
Asphyxiation.
asphyxiation.
Oh, didn't you know?
Oh, she
And
choked.
I'm only laughing because this has been, I mean, it's almost 30 years ago, so, and she would appreciate the humor. She
Oh,
actually would.
oh, good.
Um, but they actually, she had a morphine pump, and they, at the end of her life, they more or less just overdosed her with morphine. So, it's, to me, the same thing. They should have just done it, like, a week before or 2 weeks before, because she was not good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
people literally ask for death, and it's so sad too.
Absolutely.
It's
Mhm.
so sad to hear. I know my Oma, would say, "I'm just waiting for me to go. Like I'm waiting for death or whatever."
Mm,
And I'm like, "Oma,
mhm.
don't say that, because it's depressing and stuff." But she used to say that a lot. Like she just didn't. She was in so much
Yeah,
pain too. Like, yeah,
yeah. It's hard to see someone, and again, if you think of an old dog, right? And I
yeah,
know people go, "Well, that's not a human," and blah, 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 but we actually do nicer things for our old dogs than we do for, like, we keep our old dogs in our house. We don't put them in a home for old dogs, right? We keep them with
that's
us, and we look
true.
after them, and we wheel them around if they need wheeling around, and
Spend thousands of dollars.
yeah, we do all kinds of stuff. So, I mean, it is what it is, but I just think we don't do nearly what we do for our pets, which we
Right?
would want to do for elderly people or people, and it's hard because 'cause they're in pain,
Yeah.
so
We
you
don't
look at
take
them.
we don't take our elderly people for one last ride to McDonald's and to, window down, head out the window. We don't, and then you take them to the vet. You don't play frisbee one last time.
Go in the field, give them
Go
a
in the
muffin.
field. Yeah, take them to the ocean. Don't do that.
We should do that, but
Yeah,
we
we
don't.
should. Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. So there is moments where, and having working in healthcare too, I see that quite often now, where a person who has, like, maybe an end of life lung disease or something like that, um, they sign all the forms. That's all done, and then
Yeah.
they choose the day, or if it just becomes unbearable, they're able to go in and have the process done. They have their will all done. They have, like, they're able to have that time,
Yeah.
get everything prepared, prepare their family and friends as much as possible, and then the family can be around them. They can schedule where, if you have people from children or
Yeah.
whatever parent that need to come, it's all scheduled and
Say
everybody
their
comes.
goodbyes. That would be
Yes.
like, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And or there are some I notice that leave it until it's unbearable. And that's not so scheduled, but
Yeah.
the order is there. When they're ready, then they decide, and that's it. And I don't believe they don't go to heaven because of that. I'm sorry, but I don't believe that. I don't believe they're committing suicide. I believe what they're doing is ending their pain,
Yeah.
which is going to end anyway, one way or another.
Okay. What I heard you say is they don't go to heaven, which,
No, I said I don't. Oh,
yeah,
is that all you heard?
that's all I heard was, yeah, I don't believe they go to heaven. And then you
Oh
just
no,
kept,
I said I
and I'm like,
don't believe that like some religions say they don't go to heaven.
oh, because of assisted.
Because they're
Clarification. Okay.
Oh, didn't I add that?
Oh my god. I was
I
like,
think
Grandma,
your thing's cut out.
empathy, empathy.
No, 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 no. I think that some religions believe
Yeah.
that's why they're they're so
Okay.
against the
Yeah.
assisted dying is
Yeah.
because they don't believe you'll go to heaven. And I don't
Yeah.
believe that.
I don't
I
believe
believe
that.
that these people are choosing to end their pain when they want to, and instead of whenever it ends.
Right? Like, really? You think
Mhm.
15 days before, the due date was make a difference? 15 more days of suffering? That's what it takes to get
Yeah,
in?
15 more more days of hell.
Yeah.
So yeah, you think the guy sitting up at the gate, so oh no,
And he
you
goes,
didn't suffer enough. Uh-uh.
well, you're 15 days too early, so guess you really didn't want to be here that badly.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So,
Because time means so much in
yeah.
heaven. Yes, of
Well,
course.
you're there for eternity, so.
Okay.
Anywho.
Moving on, and quite possibly
Yeah.
you are. I'm not saying you're
Yeah.
not. I'm just saying I don't believe they require you to suffer
Yeah.
and die. I
Also,
just don't think that's a requirement.
if that's the requirement to get in, do you really want to go there? Be like, you wanted me to suffer down
Yeah,
here
or
so
my
I can get
family
in there.
member or someone
Yeah.
else. You really needed them to suffer for,
Yeah.
2 months,
You
you
needed
know.
that? Oh, you
Yes.
needed that. Oh, I'm sorry. That would be me. And then everyone would be like, "You're the villain."
Okay, be the villain, just like you are.
I'm the
Yeah,
villain.
yeah,
I'm the villain.
that's what
I didn't
God would
want to
do.
suffer.
That's what God would do if you "Alright, Damon. Alright, you're the villain.
You win. You're the
Okay.
villain,
Yeah. Way to go.
and you're
Happy
gonna
now?
go where villains go.
Well, you are gay,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
Hey, listen. I signed that contract as soon as I was born, baby. I'm just kidding. I knew where I was going. I just want to say the employee number that I have at this place,
Oh,
the
no,
number is
666?
666. Is it so I
No.
had to call
You
IT I had to call IT today and they go, "What's your employee number?" So it's a number and then I go 666 and they go, "Sorry, can you repeat that again?" And I go 666 and they go 36 and I said, "No, 666." And they go, "Oh." And I'm like, "Yeah."
I think I'd change that.
Oh,
Wow.
grandma. I
Oh my
also work
god.
on. Oh no, it's not the 13th floor. I work on the 17th floor. I was gonna say there's no 13th floor in buildings. I realized.
That's true. Yes.
Honestly,
Another
though,
little superstition
I,
thing.
I'm I'm named Damon. Means I don't think it means demon. I've been called demon before. I always
Isn't
get
it
the sixes.
Damien? Damien
Yeah,
means demon. Yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah.
devil or
And you get
something.
that mixed up all the time. I
Oh
know you
yeah,
do.
Well, let's
Mhm.
see. Let's Google what Damon means. What does Damon mean? Okay, let's see. In Greek baby names, the meaning of the name Damon is gentle or to tame,
Oh,
right? Okay, let's do yours because we're on the subject right now. I know this is about
okay.
illness, but beloved, a fertile plain,
God, why?
women.
Oh my God.
Well,
Okay, let's get back to illness because that's
oh,
enough of that. I'd rather talk about illness
well, let's talk
than
about
that.
fertile illness.
Oh, I don't think there is any, is there? What are you
Yeah,
talking
what
about?
if it's like you have a baby or whatever, and if the baby's bad for you or something, and then it's like you need to abort the baby or else you die
Oh,
or something.
oh,
Isn't that fertile
yeah.
illness?
How do you choose, right? A mother, that would be a very, very difficult situation.
Yeah.
But a mother, here's what I know: a mother would not want to leave their child motherless. So a
I don't know.
mother
I had a
most
father.
often chooses life.
I had a father that said, "Let's choose fatherless," but I guess a mother would never.
Okay, I'm just yeah, exactly. Let's just talk about that for a minute. As you say women, I say men. Okay? If men had to have babies, there would be none.
Yeah.
Okay? And if they had to care for them, for the most part, okay, I'm not saying all men, but boy oh boy, 90% is.
I don't want to care for a baby.
Babies would die. Like there'd be a lot of infant death syndrome. You know that in the crib
Oh
death?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
I think
yeah.
that would happen a lot if men were in like looking after babies full time.
Yeah.
I don't know. You guys don't have
Oh,
you just
okay.
don't have it.
And women
Yeah.
don't have that stuff to be in office, to be president or prime minister.
Oh, well, we
I
know
I
that.
get it.
It just
Yeah.
never happened. In Canada either. Like, come on.
Coincidence? I think not.
Anyway, so yeah, there is people, and that's concerning in the United States right now because right now the actual law in some states says, "Too bad for you, the baby will live and
Oh
you will
yeah.
die." So the state is actually choosing to put you to death. And
Illness.
then that dad, that father's gonna, well, if there is a father, because usually they take the fuck off, like yours. And
I didn't say it. I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding.
No, you're
Anyway,
not. I
so
like
there's
it.
actually then that baby's born, without a mother because she's dead. The father's already hoofed it, because they're not paying child support or doing any of that. And here's like a poor baby. So mothers, choose life for yourself.
Oh, I
Don't
would.
be ridiculous.
It was a dot dot dot. Okay, there it
Yes.
is.
Who's looking
Okay.
after that baby if you're not here? You can have
Yeah.
another one. Yeah.
Okay. Illness.
Yeah, why are we laughing?
mental illness. There.
Okay,
Let's go with
something
that.
that having lived and grown up in the 80s, I don't believe in.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, I'm always like, "What are you talking about? That weird pit of whatever in your stomach, isn't that normal? Don't we all have that?
Do you remember the
Anxiety?
days
What are
I
you
would
talking about?"
I would throw up every day going to school, and Grandma would be like, "What are you doing? What is this? Snap out of it."
Well, you could have told me what was happening. What was
We didn't
happening?
know. I didn't
Oh my
know.
god. Something was happening.
Well, I had anxiety, and now I am on
From
pills.
what?
I am medicated. Grandma, sometimes you don't know. Sorry, there are birds outside my window. They're just chirping away. They're chirp. Oh my god.
I think I can
This
hear them.
Yeah, no, there's a nest, and
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just realizing now there was two eggs splashed on the ground with not, almost fully
Oh,
grown babies inside, and
oh
it must have
no.
come from this tree. Oh my
Oh,
god, there's a village. Oh my
oh, there's a
god.
whole village of birds
They're
in your
just
tree.
fucking chirping too. Jesus Christ,
Isn't
man.
that annoying at 5 a.m. when the sun
Well,
comes up?
yeah, let me take a picture. Oh my god, I'll
I
send
had this
it.
whippoorwill that used to hang out outside my window. I could have shot it. You know those birds? They go whippoorwill, whippoor, and it would start at
Um,
5 a.m.
I know. They're so close to my window, like, I could hit them with a ladle.
Oh wow.
Anyways, I'm just
Okay, mental
kidding.
illness. Here's an interesting thing that I've noticed in my work over the years. This is not a statistical thing. I've just noticed it.
Okay.
Mentally ill people don't seem to have, like, 99% of them don't seem to have physical illness.
Good night, everybody. I'm just.
No, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they don't seem to have like diabetes or that like these sort of heart attacks, that
Yeah.
sort of thing. They have a lot of issues mentally, but physically they're in perfect shape. It's amazing to me. I've noticed that. They should do a study. Maybe I'm just completely wrong, but seems to
Honestly,
me.
I
Or maybe it's just younger people too. It might be
think it's
just that
younger
it's a lot of
people.
younger people. Because older
Yeah.
people just go, "What are you talking about?"
Exactly. These go. There's real issues in the world.
Yeah, we don't need to hear about, I don't know. What is it? What's
I
the
don't know,
problem today?
but I'm on venlafaxine and it helps. So
Does that?
yeah, it does. I'm able to live my everyday life without throwing up. I'm sorry, these birds. There's like seven of them. Oh my god, I can't get over it.
Oh,
Anywho, yeah, venlafaxine seems to really work. Ooh,
good.
um, okay. Is there anything else we want to talk about illness? Sorry, these birds are just fascinating to me. I'm taking pictures of the birds. They're babies. They're the babies.
No, I think we can tie it up with, if you if somebody you know or family member, whatever, becomes ill, just make sure you're there in whatever capacity you can be, and make sure you
Hmm.
understand what they're going, like, you're never going to understand what they're going through, but try and understand like mentally, educate yourself on their illness, their stages, and where they're going and what's going to happen to them, and maybe you can go along sort of for the ride. Hopefully the ride ends in safety and goodness. Sometimes it doesn't, and you're gonna have to deal with that. Like, everybody
Yeah.
has to deal with that. That's the thing. You're never gonna go through life where you're not gonna lose a parent, a grandparent, aunts, uncles, possibly a sibling, possibly a child, which is the backward way anything should work, but it does happen. So you have to just understand mentally that that is going to happen, and when it does, who are you just going to fold up in a corner and be a
Hmm.
puddle of, emotions? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know
Or
either.
are you going to try and just do the best you can for that person for as long as they're here, possibly throughout their illness and back to health?
I personally would choose that option. However,
Right.
I'm not you. So you, the listener, have to decide.
Yes.
And thank you for tuning in to Spill the Tea with Damen B and Gigi. Goodbye.
Bye.